This video. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back. If you have, my intention is unity, oneness, the highest levels of love light. It's been a while since I've done a video in my car, and what I wanted to kind of talk about was a lot of the messages that have been coming in, and which I've been doing a lot lately. I've received new information about the type of light language that I'm doing. I've received, I guess, more confirmation than new information. I've been receiving downloads and activations about a particular void of space or place in existence that I've been tapping into and communicating with as an aspect of myself. And as I kind of share this, I'm also being reminded to share with everybody that if I'm going through these upgrades and expansions, and I've been kind of clearing out and processing a lot during dream time in the astral and just in general, then many others are too, of course. And so it's really important as a gentle reminder for us to be patient with other people, because there's still a lot of people who are in a place of fear and in a place of, I guess, lack of communication with themselves. They don't know who they really are, let alone what the world really has available to them. So I'm hearing it's a very limited point of view. And when somebody's in a place of fear and in a very limited point of view, it's just so much easier for them to kind of be set off and triggered, right? As many of us we've been there. A lot of us have been there, myself included. So that was something I just wanted to pop on and say. Now I'm going to go into a little flow as I drive. A little light language. And as we tap into these more expansive, exponential aspects of ourselves, as each of us clues into, if you will, the glue that holds us all together, I'm seeing this, so to speak, the fabric, if you will, that we are all intricately interwoven and connected into. We recognize that I'm hearing there are so much more to meet than meets the eye, and there's much more to us. So this is all a play on words as well. As we step out of the inner trappings, if you will, the trapping and weaving that we have been playing in for so long, and we expand out into this knowingness that we are interpreting from a higher expression, a higher expansion, a higher linguistic, it allows us to piece together and to extract ourselves from the entrapments that we have been, I'm seeing a spider web, and essentially the spider web is woven into everything. The fabric of reality in our structure is woven into everything. And as a reminder, we are the fabric. So the more expansive we can get, holy moly, the clouds are beautiful. Okay, I'm being guided to share that as well. So the more expansive we can feel, and the less we feel entrapped and ensnared, and I'm seeing this reference to the hares. If you ever look up the 3 hares, HARES, it's 3 rabbits in a circle with their ears connected. And it's essentially a strange loop is what it is. It's strange loop. Anyways, I'll let you look that up on your own at your own leisure. So, I'm sorry, I'm seeing lots of symbols right now. So, So as we let ourselves out of the ensnared, entangled, misdirected, and lower frequency bandwidths, it allows us to hold a greater capacity for, I'm hearing, playing with the band. So yes, each of us is our own instrument, and yes, it is important. You know, I'm seeing like the guitarist, the lead singer, and I'm having a reference to a show that I just watched the other night where the lady in it said, "You weren't the lead singer of a boy band. There is no lead singer in a boy band. Everybody's the lead in a boy band," which we all know that there's favorites, or there's people whose egos are a little bit bigger than perhaps the other members in the band. But when we're playing together, we are doing it with compassion. And this is obviously what I kind of began speaking about in the beginning of this video. And recognizing that we are not a band, we are not banded together. If we are, I'm seeing people that are marching to their own drums, and that's not a bad thing. They're just going off course and doing their own thing, but recognizing that what we do on our own does have a ripple effect and affects the whole WHOL community. And I'm also seeing the whole of creation, like everything being a toroidal spin, a toroidal field. It ripples out into that wave, and we don't even necessarily realize what a massive impact one person can have. And so imagine if we are, I'm seeing just a reference. It's okay to play our own tune and beat to the rhythm of our own drum and do what really is important for us, but also recognize that everybody else has their own song to sing. And for us to get into a higher frequency as a collective, it does take a certain amount of doing this together, right? And so there's that fine line between being really independent and opinionated, is what I'm hearing, versus constructively open. So that's a theme that I'm seeing kind of in the collective. Pause. I think I've paused it. Have I paused it? I don't know if I paused it or not. No. I'm just seeing the coolest Mustang right now. It's a Mach 1 Mustang, and it's very interesting to me because it's original color. I love old cars. And just a minute ago, I had seen a yellow Corvette, a bright yellow Corvette, and the guy either was selling it. I kind of got the impression that it was his new vehicle. And I was hearing in my mind's I was hearing in my mind, little red Corvette, baby, you're much. So I was seeing this reference to, and this particular car is maroon and gold, which are versions of red and yellow. You guys, synchronicity, right? And I'm just seeing that there's this inner power, right? There's this old energy that we can use to power up and combine with the new energies. And I'm hearing new band members want to play. So there are people, for those of you watching this, that have been kind of on this journey for a while and are able to hold space. There's more people that want to learn how to do that and want to be a part of this power and find their own inner power. But I'm also seeing this as symbolic as our vehicles are being upgraded. And I'm just laughing because I have a dream, a group of girls who I share, they're part of my soul family. And I do a dream chat with them. We were doing it every morning. We try to do it as often as possible on back and forth messaging. But essentially, we had just been talking about how these colors of these oranges and reds and yellows, like the old remember the 70s and 80s? I always kind of like Stranger Things. Like if you go back and watch Stranger Things, the costume or Goomies, it's all those old colors, right? And my parents' house, like they did a lot of golds and browns and earthy colors. And I'm just kind of seeing this as symbolic, as getting back to our roots, finding our own inner power. And then when we do this, it allows us to upgrade our vehicles and not being afraid to step into the new vehicle and let the whole, is what I'm hearing, the completeness of you shine through. And when we step up to the plate, it allows others to, I'm hearing, navigate and circumvent, let's get to that later. It allows others to essentially navigate as well, right? It helps others to feel their own, I'm hearing temple navigation and temporal navigation. So when we exude our heart frequency, it goes out. I talk about this all the time. And I've always talked about checking out heart math, which my dear friend Kat introduced me to years ago. But in general, you don't have to do heart math to understand that being in coherence or in a place of space, calmness, centeredness radiates and exudes out that inner power of creativity, of compassion. We're just in it. And what's happening is when we hold that space, others, it helps others. It's that simple. So let's say that we're part of this boy band or girl band and we are all holding space. It's kind of like that whole from the Bible, Jesus says, when two or more gather in my name. So if we look at Christ, and I'm going to go non-religious and non-biblical here for a minute. I'm just going to talk energy. I try to be neutral on a lot of topics because I feel very neutral on many topics, even though I can see both sides oftentimes. But either way, the Christ, the cross, from an energetic standpoint, is the center. Here, this is the focal point. This is the center. And a crystalline frequency versus an iron or a denser frequency, or is it silicate? It's been a while since I've talked about this, but it's different. It's a higher resonance. It's a higher frequency. And when we allow ourselves to get into that higher frequency from a place of the heart, connecting into the temporal, and this is a lot of plays on words, the temple, right? I'm hearing the Sermon on the Mount, but I'm hearing the serpent on the mount. And so that's the caduceus. It's the snake traveling up the spinal column and activating through the heart frequency, which helps us to then bring that power. I'm hearing from a Mach 1 to a Mach, like upgrading. So when I saw the red car, it's red to yellow, or I'm sorry, red to orange to yellow. It's this convergence, and it's all coming up, right? Up from the root. And this is very basic, guys. There's much more than just the 7 chakras and basic colors, but I'm just visualizing that as I say this. It's coming up from the root, it's coming up the channel, and it's I'm just seeing it all converging at the heart center. Then it goes out into the space, up through the crown, out into the space around us, and literally that charge, plasma charge, which is science-based, can be felt with focused intention and setting, not just saying something, but actually feeling it. That's why the law of attraction is so powerful. We then send out that wave into the field around us, and we allow ourselves to change or shift the vibrational currency of matter that is within our, I'm hearing, material plane. But it's beyond that. It's on Earth, but obviously this is beyond material, so to speak. But this is elemental, it is energetic, it is electrical, it's magnetic, it's all of that. So when we utilize this and we send it out from our field, and we're doing it in groups, which is what we're doing, clusters, when we gather together with this focused and pure intention of this crystalline frequency, harmonic frequency, it literally affects everything around us. And if I'm sending it out and it goes out 15 feet around me, imagine if I'm with just 5 other people and we go spread out. Let's say we hold hands in a circle, that's going out 15 feet around each person. And this is just an approximate measurement that's been done from different scientists about how far out the heart field really expands. And I have a feeling it goes farther than that, especially if we are in a complete place of balance and even beyond what I'm sharing. So I'm going to end on that note and just kind of share that this has been the most important message that I go into over and over and over again, and just visualizing how powerful we are as a collective. We can beat to the rhythm of our own drum. And one of the messages I talked about this week is, how do we recognize what that is, right? Get back into the heart. Find out what brings us joy and what makes us feel bliss. And I say bliss to me isn't necessarily all blissed out. It can be. But it's a little bit closer to just a place of feeling creative and expressive, or just completely centered. You don't have to be creating anything when you're in bliss, because you're creating energy. And it's finding that balance and operating. I'm seeing like a surgeon operating with precise clarity so that we're not getting wrapped up in other people's toroidal spins, right? Sucked into other people's magnets. So I'm going to end on that note, sending out a lot of love and lights. Namaste.